Welcome to the Wisdom Lifestyle Money Show. I'm your host, Scott Dillingham. The goal of the show is to show you how you can grow personally, financially, have a larger net worth, and leverage your largest asset to help you develop the person you want to be. I take you through all the steps I did from being nothing to being told that I was nobody and I was never going to accomplish anything, from getting kicked out of high school to owning a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio in my own company with more than 20 employees. You'll meet our partners, you'll meet our friends, and you'll quickly discover how you can improve your life. So listen in and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Wisdom Lifestyle Money Show. I'm your host, Scott Dillingham, and today I have Alex Ciatoli joining us. He is an investment-focused realtor from Windsor, part of Team Gore and Remax. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. I'm so glad and so excited for this. Now, one of the things actually that I start off with every podcast is who our guest is, right? So who is Alex Ciatoli? Tell us your story.
I don't know where to start. I'm, I guess, born and raised in Windsor, Ontario here. Grew up, went to high school, university here, and then was fortunate enough to go to law school in Michigan at Thomas Cooley. Nice. Came back and worked for my parents' structural steel business. Awesome. So I was born into that. So my parents were immigrants here to Windsor, right? My brothers were born in Brazil. I was the last of the three born, and I was born here in Windsor.
Okay.
But I was born into a structural steel family.
Nice.
My dad immigrated here, worked for Ford as a truck driver, and then got the opportunity to start making steel railings. And I don't know if you guys remember Becker's stores here in Windsor and throughout Ontario.
I remember Becker's, the convenience stores.
Yeah, that's right. So he got a break from a contractor here asking my dad if he could make a Becker's store, structural steel.
Awesome.
He had no clue how to do it. He was making railings, but he said yes, forged through it and did well, and ended up getting all the contracts in Ontario.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So Becker's, I'm pretty sure Becker's was bought out. Is it Max Milk?
Yeah.
Okay.
He moved on to Max Milk as well after that. So that was sort of his story coming up, and ended up growing the business to one of the biggest structural steel companies in southwestern Ontario.
Nice.
So I was sort of forged by steel in that business.
Yeah.
And, learned from the ground up, within the shop and office management, and then progressed to project management and doing takeoffs and quotes, right?
Yeah.
Which was a very essential tool in business, regardless whether you're doing, manufacturing or if you're doing pricing for whatever it may be. For instance, in real estate. That's it. Especially for investors.
That's it. And I love that too, because you mentioned you grew up here, which I think is important because, if you've just moved to a town, you've only been there a year or two, how do you really know the ins and outs, right? Where you've seen the city completely revamp, be rebuilt and everything. So I love that. And I mean, you just touched on real estate. So let's hear, what's your perspective on the real estate industry right now?
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I think Windsor, like you're saying, the ups and downs through the decades here. Like growing up here, you see like 2008, what happened, and before that, it's cyclical, right?
Yeah.
But with all of the investments coming into this area right now, it's just the growth is explosive. Whether it be industrial, commercial, or single family homes, all the way up to multi-million-dollar homes. There's growth, and there's Demore Construction. He's a gentleman that owned all the land for the expressway here back in the day. He was friends with my father, and he told me I was a little kid when he told me this, but it never left my mind. Whenever you go into a city and you see cranes in the air, invest in that city. There's growth and progress. Yeah. So Windsor. It's dynamic right now, right? So there's a lot of money coming into this area, which ends up, lending to new house sales and building and all kinds of stuff.
No, that's it. And that's awesome. And I heard that same quote too. And for the many years, I was discouraged because I was not seeing any cranes in Windsor. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But I got to say probably for the past 5, maybe 6 years, it's really turned around and things are getting really strong.
It's great. It's great for all sectors of business, whether it be manufacturing or real estate or, the restaurant businesses. in Windsor. You see a lot of new ones popping up, which is great. It's fantastic to see all that. There's a lot of new Canadians coming here as well.
Yeah.
Which lends to money moving around and being spent, and that's progress.
Yeah.
That's progress.
That's what we love.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
we love. Now, I do have a question for you because we obviously follow each other online.
Yep.
And I see, the insignia or the branding, Esquire Realtor. So I'm actually curious, is it how you dress? Like, what is that? And then what's the difference between that and
Well,
realtor?
listen, if we're talking about Esquire Realtor, then I must answer by, Esquire Realtor, right?
Fair enough.
These are prescription, but they're a gradient lens, but you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Right? Esquire is the whole package, right?
Okay.
So
I love it.
It's your first meeting with the client. After you've progressively told them about yourself and what you can do for them, you really want to show them what you can do. So Esquire is the elite of the elite with whatever it may be, whether you're an attorney or you've been bestowed Esquire by the Queen.
Okay.
Right?
Nice.
So it's an experience that you have. There's a lot of realtors, and with whatever industry you're in, doctor, lawyer, there's good, there's okay, and then there's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I want to be on the fantastic side, and I try to, do that for all of my clients.
That's awesome. I love it. Cool. Yeah, I saw that. I'm so curious about this. Thanks for
So
sharing.
it's prompt responses. It's prompt. Correct answers, not just shooting from the hip. You want to get proper analysis for your clients, whether it be an investor at a commercial level, which they want to know about exit strategies and all that. They want cap rates to be at a certain level, or if it's the initial investor looking to buy their first home to add to their portfolio.
Yeah.
So there's different analytics that go into each sector, but I really try to talk to them, right. And answer any questions they may have. And that communication is key. And that's mentioned always on Team Gordon as well. I rate Team Gordon as the number one team in Canada by far. I know that we're rated number 3 in residential home sale closings or whatnot, and number 6 in the world. Listen, the best team to be part of, especially if you're a new agent coming into the industry. The training and the focus on communication in the agents is bar none. Mm-hmm. So I just want to give a shout out to Team Gordon.
That's awesome.
Gordon. They're doing a fantastic job there.
Go Team Gordon.
Absolutely. And I'm glad to be part of that.
No, that's awesome. That's so cool. Now, you're right. You're right about the connection with the clients. I had a realtor in the past tell me, 4 years after he sold the home, the client called him and said, how do I get my washing machine fixed? You know what I mean? So like having that connection with your client, I think is so important.
Yeah, I'm definitely not answering that question. I'm fixing washing machines, but I would definitely, refer them to a professional.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's it's the testament of you do a good job and you're going to always be there for the client.
Yeah, you end up, these are expensive decisions, to say the least, right? So
absolutely.
If investors going in, like I said, there's different, levels of investing, but if you're a prudent, pragmatic investor who's been doing it for years, you want to know your cap rates, you want to know what your exit strategy is, the dynamics of that city or what you're investing in. So there's different levels of expertise, and I try to focus on my lane, which is commercial, industrial, and even the entry level investor, getting them if they want to do a lot of new investors are coming in, buying a single family home and converting that, right?
Absolutely.
For a secondary income. So you want to make sure that they're in the right zoning, because in Windsor right now, they're Section 1 and 2 zoning. The city's implementing their inspectors to go through, right? So they want to make sure that you're abiding by all the codes and you've got your proper permits and that. I just went through that with a client of mine that bought a property, and the initial property owner was starting to do conversions to an ADU. Didn't pull permits, didn't do any of that, ran out of money, ended up getting foreclosed on by the bank. And when we went in there, we saw the explosive potential of that property there. Yeah. We knew that there was permits that had to be pulled, but after working the numbers, it worked fantastically. And we pulled the trigger, and he got the property.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And this is a bit random, because I know I didn't ask you this before, but I'm curious just from our conversation. So you touched on, staying in your lane,
Yeah.
right? And industrial and commercial style properties is sort of your niche. But then you also mentioned at the start, like your parents, you were involved in all these commercial projects and stuff. So do you think that growing up with your parents into that stuff, like that's what naturally allowed you to get into this?
110%. I've been doing takeoffs ever since I was 14 years old. Takeoffs, if you don't understand what that is, folks, is it's a quotation method, right? And just breaking down your cost of materials, your labor, your contingencies, all that going forward, and laying out, the amount of time that it's going to take, which is essential depending on the season that you're in. Sometimes it'll take more time in the winter time moving forward, or the labor force may not be up to your standards and going that quickly. But you've got to. Those are a lot of analytics that have to be worked out, and you want to win, man. You want to win for your client. You want to win for yourself. And at the end of the day, if you're not winning, you're not working. So,
That's it.
and winning is essential.
Yeah.
That's the objective all the time, and I've yet to lose.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome. So no, that's great. And so I want to add some value to the listeners now, right? So we talked about you and how you are and just kind of your niches in that. But let's talk about the market a little bit. So ideally, my vision is somebody who's listening to this, whether they're in Windsor or outside of Windsor, who would consider investing in Windsor. Let's talk about Windsor. So what's the market doing? Is it trending up or trending down, right? Because in Canada, everywhere is up and down depending on the location. So let's talk about Windsor. What's Windsor doing?
Hottest market in Canada.
Nice.
I don't know what the actual number is. It's 1 million new Canadians coming in every year. The majority of them are coming to Ontario because of the industrial growth, right? There's a lot of industry here, and there's a lot of potential. So I don't know the exact numbers on what the growth is. I'd have to look that up, but I know that every sector that in real estate has been growing, whether it be commercial building leases, single family residential homes. A lot of them are being converted to ADUs. Like I said, there's Mr. Mayor here in Windsor has allowed that to happen, which is essential. There's a housing shortage here in Windsor, right? And I think throughout Ontario. Yeah. So growth-wise, I think if you're an initial investor coming in here, or you're looking to buy and grow, I think this city here is fantastic for that. Okay. I think there's potential in moving forward. The next 10-year trajectory I foresee in Windsor, Essex County, to be explosive. So the market right now, it was trending. So it, you know how it works, Scott. Interest rates correlate to housing pricing, right? Not to mention bonds, right? So these are all correlated factors. Yeah. We don't want to get too technical here, I think, but growth is like this right now. Yeah. I think it's plateaued a little bit in late April, just because I think a lot of people are waiting for interest rates to see what's going to be happening with that. You're very well aware with that.
For sure, they are. They're waiting on the sidelines. I have so many buyers that say, as soon as the rates lower, I'm hopping in. So it's going to be pretty crazy.
Which is nuts if you think of it, right? Because everybody's waiting for the rates to come down, so everybody's holding off to get into the market. And then when the rates come down, what happens? Everybody gets in the market. Yeah. Which is...
And then bidding wars. And
so if you have the cash, folks, or if you're, approved with LendCity, or your bank for that matter, get on to a good realtor and get in the market, because your chances of getting the home that you want, or your dream home, are fantastic right now. And you'll pay, a considerable amount less. Yeah. Right?
No, that's awesome. Now, for those that don't know the area, or even those that do and are from Windsor, but maybe they just don't read the news, can we touch on some of the major infrastructure projects that are happening in and around Windsor right now?
Sure. Well, the major one is the battery plant, right? Yeah. Over 350,000 square feet of building there, which is incredible. Yeah. I think it's 10,000 new employees going to be operating in that facility there, which is explosive. That alone right there, that money that's going to be generated just with the labor force is explosive. These people need to eat, they need to live, they need to buy clothes, they need to shop and travel. Absolutely. So there's a lot of growth there. The new hospital that's going to be up here, the mega hospital
Yeah.
off of 42 there. I think the projections are for the end of 2025.
Yeah.
Amazon plant, the new Gordie Howe Bridge,
Yeah.
all kinds of
It's nonstop.
development, and the plethora of new Canadians coming in.
Yeah.
Right? I noticed that the streets are a lot more crowded, whether it be Monday to Friday with
They are.
traffic, which is fantastic.
They are. We were talking about that, and I'll add another piece of value here. But we were just talking about that literally today. So LendCity has been opened as a location for 4 years, and we went through COVID and all that. So there's been very little foot traffic of people coming in off the street, but that has absolutely increased.
Yeah.
And so now we're like, okay, we need our sales team in the building, because our team is very remote because they can work from home.
Sure.
Or they're out at Tim Hortons meeting a client or at their work, you know what I mean? But now we literally need people in the office because it's just, the foot traffic. So you're right there. The other thing I want to say too is if you look at Detroit, so for those that are not from the area, or again, those that are, but just don't know, Windsor and Detroit, because it's a border city, they very much mimic each other. So if Detroit has, downtime with business, Windsor tends to have downtime as well. And you wouldn't think that because it's different countries, but they're so connected that they do. But if you look at Detroit right now, just like Alex said, there's cranes, right? They're building buildings, they're making moves, there's things going on, they're revitalizing the community there. And it's really impressive when you go over there compared to seeing it a few years ago. It's night and day difference.
Yeah.
So,
not to mention the real estate market in the United States is booming as well, right?
Yeah.
So Canada tends to mimic that.
Yeah.
We're a little behind. Our population is a lot less, obviously, but very correlated, which is great.
Yeah.
Exciting times coming.
Yep. So just a little bit of FYI for the investors listening here. So, okay, so let's talk about the out-of-town investors. So what is the best advice that you would give to somebody who's not from Windsor who wants to buy in Windsor? What would you give?
Well, for one, if they're not part of an investment group, whether it be Ontario or wherever, get in contact with myself or a fantastic mortgage broker that does those dynamics. For instance, LendCity, you guys have a lot of different groups that investors are a part of, right?
Absolutely.
That would be, your start of the vetting process there.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence, ladies and gentlemen. Do your due diligence with whomever you're going to be involved with that's going to be spending your money on investments, and grill them. Give them the gears. Make sure that they know as much as you do, if not more, moving forward, right? Because it's it's a process. A lot of people, I see, this industry is crazy, getting into it. There's a lot of realtors that have just come from, selling T-shirts, and now they're selling houses, and they think it's the same thing. And they're supposed to be professional. It's just mind-blowing on the level of professionalism that you can find. But the key factor here is grill them, do your due diligence, and vet them for yourself. If not, get someone that you trust or give me a call.
Yeah.
I'll vet them or grill them for you, or you can use me. I'd love to help out, add value.
No, that's awesome. And I know just from the mutual clients we had together, the reviews on you were very high. So I can say that. Now, I know we kind of touched on a bunch of things here, but I just want to make sure there's nothing that we're leaving out. So we talked about many of the good reasons of why someone would want to invest in Windsor over another town. Was there anything that we might have missed, or do you think we hit it all?
I think there's a lot to talk about. I don't think we could cover it in this one segment or podcast here, but it depends on how much. If you have an exit strategy, if you're looking to get into a commercial building or a multi-unit building and have an exit strategy in 5 years and have a certain rate that you want to clear out. If you have investors that are part of your group that are going into this, I can work that out for you. We can work it out together. Provided that your goals are realistic, right? Typically, a lot of investors that I'm dealing with that are from the GTA, man, they like to see a 10% cap rate. They want to see a strong number because there's always contingencies that pop up with properties, whether it be commercial or multi-units. Roof needs fixing, or all of a sudden, something goes hard left and it has to be tended to. So they want to see cash flow, right? They want to see cash flow, and having a realtor that knows the ins and outs to look for and pricing those schematics moving forward, it makes the investor feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
And when you deliver on that, they're yours.
That's it. That's awesome. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Now, again, I don't want to ask the same questions, but I know we're getting to the end of the segment here. And I know we touched on many of the benefits of working with you, but I'd like you to talk a little more about yourself, if there's any other benefits. And then lastly, how do people get in touch with you to move forward if
Sure.
they're interested? Yeah.
Sure. Listen, I've been involved in big business, whether it be through a family business or moving forward with the things that I've done. I've worked abroad with a senator and a doctor in the Caribbean, with professional medical field. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So I've got contacts that I've dealt with all over, whether it be Europe, Caribbean, here in North America. Business that I've started and sold, which is always a great thing when you're looking to find someone that's going to be doing your investments, right? They understand the ins and outs of what it takes to grow a portfolio, or even what a portfolio is. You're not going to just pass over your hard-earned money or your group's money to someone that you haven't vetted, right? So this is a process, and it's a matter of getting to know someone, initial meetings, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
To testing your first project and see how it moves forward. Because talk is cheap, and delivery is everything on that. So the objective is to win. And I don't like learning. So you know how they have that saying, either you're winning or you're learning?
Yeah.
No, I just want to win.
That's it. That's it. That's awesome.
I've learned enough.
How does everybody contact you so then everyone else can win too?
Sure, absolutely. You can contact me through, you can call me on my business line,
okay,
or my personal line. You can reach me at 226-350-5165, or 226-773-0060. Or you can email me as well, alex.c@remaxcare.com, or call the office at Team Gordon.
That's awesome. Well, again, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for coming on. It's nice to see an interview and have people here that I do see working with investors in the neighborhood and community. And we hadn't talked about Windsor for a long time, so I'm glad to have you on so we could.
Thank you very much. I look forward to doing more of these. I think there's a dynamic here that we could educate and pass on some great knowledge. You've got a plethora of things to talk about, I'm sure, and as do I.
Yeah, sounds great. We'll do it.
So from Scott and myself, Mr. Esquire Realtor, we're out.
See you later. If you're serious about real estate investing and you want to take it to the next level with the least amount of time and mistakes, then you're going to want to sign up for our Real Estate Investor Hub. Visit CanadianRealEstateNetwork.com and hit the blue button or banner that says Free Investor Resources. Inside, you'll have access to real estate investing courses, networking opportunities, webinars featuring industry professionals, as well as dedicated chat channels to share and get access to unique properties. I look forward to seeing you there.